And with loving kindness and the practice of patience, we repay evil with goodness. So this evil that comes to us are actually arising from past causes. So you repay with goodness. That means you do not create any more karmic seeds arising from evil. So you stop whatever has manifested with you. So it is part of the purification practice. With patience, we practice contemplation of virtues of body, speech, and mind. And patience is obviously important because this is where you cannot react, do not react to whatever evil they come about. So when you want to practice goodness, you need patience. With these challenges, when these challenges manifest, you have our spiritual friends. I will come to this part later. When faced with criticism or slander, we must not begin to discriminate between friend or foe. And this is about drawing our boundaries, that we discriminate, differentiate, and as a result of which, whatever falls outside the boundary, we get afflicted. So Master's explanation, we must begin with practicing loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity, which is not the four infinite minds, or sometimes it's referred to as the four immeasurables. So we must also practice the 6 parameters. Now, I know that 4 plus 6 add up to 10, but actually there's also 10 parameters that Master occasionally did mention about the 10 grounds of bodhisattvahood, and the rest of the 4 will be perfection of methods, perfection of visual methods or the skillful means, aspiration of vows, and the perfection of spiritual power or resolute, and ultimately then perfection of knowledge. Among the 6 parameters, we practice patience is the most important, and actually this already mentioned to you yesterday that I shared with you my experience in cultivating patience, so I want to touch on that. So it is inevitable we have both friends and foes. Even though you do not have any enemies in this life, you have been created from the past, just like between Devadatta and the Buddha. So we must be able to repay evil with goodness, no matter what kind of person we meet, however unhappy they are with us, however they slander us, however they treat us. We should always remain vigilant. So sometimes you do wonder, oh, I haven't done anything to that person. Why is it so rude to me? Or why is he saying all these things about me? Why does he slap me on the back? So on and so forth. So this is this is all part of cultivation of the noble virtues for you to have the patience and not to react. And in the practice, obviously, we should be grateful that these people have come to our life, because you know that you're in a position, the conditions have come about for you to be able to repay your past causes, and you're able to repay the past causes, and you're able to purify. And they are then obviously, they will go back to the 6 parameters that not only patience, but you must also have perseverance to be able to withstand this. So you may have, you may remember what I shared with you. One of the practices is actually to learn. You see, when people come to you, you need to learn to forgive. And being forgiving is being merciful. Without mercy, you cannot have a great loving heart. So it has to be part of the practice. You want to cultivate great love, you got to learn how to be forgive. You need to learn how to be merciful. And these are the people that come to our life to teach us this. So they are all our teachers in this life, to be able to teach us to be merciful. So there is a saying, replace resentment with virtue. And this is part of the virtue. The virtues are being practiced. What the virtue of forgiving. And with only when you have that merciful virtue, yeah, you can have that inner peace within you. So accept everything willingly and respond with a joyful heart. And when you do, and over time, you'll be able to have the inner joy in you. And being able to do repay resentment with virtue in your own quiet ways. Pray for your enemies, and wish them well, and as you pray for your loved ones, then our obstacles and entanglements will gradually be solved. So in life, we must practice patience. We must always be in a state of Zen, a state of meditative concentration, which is the state of samadhi, right? Master always mentioned. This state is meticulous and attentive. Our minds must not be shaken by external conditions. So what do you mean by not shaken by external conditions? We have the 6 roots. And again, so when this 6 roots in contact with external conditions, past habits will arise. We are not well in control in a ways that, either in our speech or in our action become unwholesome. Then as a result of which we sow more karmic seeds, but instead we should turn it around so that we're not shaken by external conditions that come to us. We accept it. And when accepted, we then need to apply the Dharma. So in practice of goodness, in our daily living, the people and external conditions we encounter can pose all kinds of challenges to us, so that we truly must face many obstacles and deal with difficult matters. So we should be grateful for them, because they are, very much that we say that, oh, when we come to practice, we have the right conditions to practice. But sometimes the conditions come in various forms and different ways. But when they do come, it's quite often we complain, isn't it? We complain about why is this thing happening to me, and we lose everything we have learned and not being able to apply to that. There's a reason why, go back to this point that Master mentioned, that we must be in a state of meditative concentration, so that when you are in that state, when those external conditions come to us, we're able to understand those conditions. Only when you are able to understand the conditions, then you can only realize what you should be applying the right Dharma to respond to that. So we should be grateful for all this. Be thankful for having the chance to overcome them. And there's this jinxie aphorism which was mentioned. If someone is holding us back, we must be grateful to them for training our strength to move forward. So we want to climb the steps must be there. So we need to lift our legs up to step up. So in very much the same way, when they come to us, they obviously, yes, they hold us back. We cannot run as fast as on a flat road. They're going to climb up the stairs, otherwise they'll slow us down. But then when you slow us down, we're ascending to a new level of practice. So when you ascend these steps of progress, when you ascend, what should I say, you ascend high enough, you enter what you call into a new stream of practice. When you enter in a new stream of practice, you'll reach what you call a watershed moment, okay, which I wouldn't be touching too much on this until maybe one day my master mentioned some relating to this. So be grateful to them for creating the condition to test our patience in our cultivation to fulfill our spiritual aspiration. When they pose challenges to us, we should look at them as our spiritual friends. These spiritual friends that they come to us. So they are our benefactors. So benefactors doesn't mean that someone will give you the fortune to practice. These people who come to give you the challenge, they're also your spiritual friends. So we need to understand that the spiritual friends of Kalyana Mitra, and from spiritual friends, you get what you call guides. From guides, you get guardians. And then you get protectors, and you get teachers, you get masters. So in facing evil, we repay with goodness, and we repay resentment with virtue. It is the people who hinder us that we must truly work hard to find a way to forgive them, and which I mentioned earlier. And this is all. If there are 10 levels of learning the teaching, practice. Forgiving is level 8 out of 10, and dissolve the animosity so that we become spiritual friends. So we must not discriminate between friend and foe, and remove all the boundaries that you have within you. So Devadatta harmed the Buddha, even tried to kill the Buddha, and each time the Buddha forgive. So when we practice forgiveness, there's one thing we must understand. You forgive on your part. Whether the other part forgive you or not, that's a different issue. That's nothing to do with you, okay? So you may forgive someone, and someone will still be afflicted, and you will still be doing you. That's like what they did to the Buddha. So therefore, that you can't control the other person, so you should let it be. So with the 3 insights and the 6 spiritual powers that was mentioned yesterday, we should comprehend the past so that we can understand the future in resolving the non-retreating bodhisattva, and that is practice without leak. Our connection with the Buddha mind is formed as a hearer. We listen to the Dharma and gradually understand how we can eliminate our afflictions, and gradually realize the Buddha mind and walk amongst the masses. So even when Buddha has taught for 40 years, the capabilities of hearers were still not uniform. And some of them with limited capabilities, but then he taught with causes and condition, analogies and expression, and he unceasingly transformed them. So in the Sangha, 1,200 hearers, as Master mentioned, began to awaken. So this is what we aspire to do. So when you take the refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, so we need to emulate that. So in contemplation, when the mind is not tamed, someone else will, and the mind will become the master. And we got to be very mindful of this, because someone will take control, and then without you knowing, your mind will become your master. When the mind is but know that the mind is actually a wonderful servant, but it's a dangerous master. It's very much like a knife. If you are stressed by what is happening today, it will not matter in a year from now. But whatever that arises will eventually cease. Master always say, right? When life hurts, stop and observe. And these are all of our life becomings. Life is trying to teach you. Therefore, learn from the life becomings. And then you apply the Dharma, and you'll find it, the experiential learning is very unique to you. Do not let your mind be controlled by people, matters, and the past. Practice in the present. So in a relationship, forgiving the relationship. Forgive all those who may have hurt or harmed you, knowingly or unknowingly in thoughts, words, or deeds. You need the merits to have the opportunity to forgive. So therefore, when they come to you, recognize those are the merits that you have the opportunity to forgive. But the problem is, most of the time, we don't see them as merits. We see them as obstruction. Hence, do not waste the opportunity to forgive when you can. So forgiveness will happen as time will heal. Like I said before, karma has no expiry date. So, and you need to settle the karmic score. Karma can mature in your future life, if not in this life. So let go and forgive. Okay, Gan En brother, sister, thank you.
Yeah, Gan En so much, BrotherChin. Another round of marvelous summary and a great insight. Yeah, can we all on our video? So you take a group photo. At the same time, we will maybe hear a few words from Sister Tzu Chi.
Good morning, Gan En, Brother Robert. Gan En, brothers and sisters, for the wonderful sharing. Yeah, resonate closely with I think everyone also today. The word patience, also great reminder with the meditative concentration. Which reminded me of this volunteer who was robbed by this young he just put a knife at this volunteer, so she was resting, and while she was resting, and when she woke up, she was so shocked to see this young man. This is our commission. Then this young man said, "You don't yell and don't shout. I just need your money." Then this commissioner, then this volunteer said, "I'm sure." Then the person said, the commissioner said, "I've just donated my money. I'm a Tzu Chi volunteer. Now left a little bit in my pocket. You can take whatever you need. Let me know. You seem to be in trouble. Anything, because I'm a volunteer. We are here to help." So this man suddenly he just knelt when hearing that. He said, "I'm sorry, I'm in a difficult situation. Take this as I loan it from you. I'll return it to you one day." Volunteer said, "It's okay. This money do not need to return to me. Take it as I'm helping you during this time. But if anything, do come back to me when you are in need." So to me, that is a meditative contemplation, because the person has the love and the kindness at heart. I think patient, I agree with our brothers and sisters, 真的是不容易. Sometimes facing the children, the spouse, the colleagues. So trying to remind myself with the 3 no's, 三人的, there's no one I don't trust, don't believe, and don't love. Very important as we practice the 6 parameter. I always remind myself, having the wisdom is very important, but more important must have the deep compassion, feeling the pain of others. Else it will be a bit muted. It's not easy to feel for others. I think patience will come easier when we embrace the suffering, the pains of others. This is my learning, and Gan En brothers and sisters for the great guidance daily. Okay, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, you can go, and hopefully today Master appear again. And Gan En, we look forward to this recording, and we look forward to our brother Robert's notice, brother Albert.
Okay, yeah, Gan En, so much, Sister Ching and all the brothers and sisters for your sharing, for joining us. Yeah.